DC here. Hi, guys and gals. Hey, I hope you're well. If you hear some noise in the background, there's somebody. No, there's a person from the town. Yeah, you can see him in the background in orange. He's mowing the lawn, but not with a lawnmower, normal one, but with some type of industrial thing. So it is actually a little bit noisy. I'm sorry about that, but I'm just sitting down and we'll do the tags because it's Monday. Yes, and Monday is very often my tag day. So I've got two tags as usual. One from Jasmine. Hi there, Jasmine. Hope you're well. So a 5-question tag. So let's see. And if you've noticed, it's become a lot cooler. It's what is it right now? It's 15, something like that. It's 15 degrees Celsius. So that's rather cool. Okay. So let me see. Question 1. Anything good or bad that happened to you last week? Let me see. Last week. What happened last week? Oh, well, I had a chat with, was it last week? If Jordan is watching, he will know. I had a chat last week on Wednesday. I think it was last Wednesday. Yeah, and it was fun catching up with a young man that I met on YouTube. And he lives in California, and he is very talented. And it's always a pleasure to speak with him. That was something good that happened. Let me see, what else? Oh, I went to some drinks at a reopening of a restaurant. So outside, with my second son and his partner. So with Mrs. DC as well, of course. And that was a lot of fun. Those are two good things that happened last week. Yeah, so it was overall a pretty good week. Yeah. Question 2. What would you do if you found money on the floor? I think that's a pretty standard question that I've seen a few times in tags before. Well, of course, if it's a wallet with all the identifications, I think it's pretty much the same answer that Jasmine gave. You know, I'd look and see who it belongs to and try and, well, do my best to find the person. Has that happened to me before? It actually has. But there was a telephone number. I was able to give it away, give it back, I mean. And then what would happen? What if I found just money on the ground? Well, money on the ground is more complicated. I say that more complicated. It's like, where do you put a limit? Like if I found a couple thousand on the ground, I guess I would go to the police because, you know, there's just no way. There's a problem with that, actually. If it's I have found up to 20 francs on the ground once. And, you know, in the middle of nowhere, what do you do? Well, I kept it. But, you know, if it was a really, really large amount, you know that something's going wrong. But there'd have to be some way of finding out that just not anybody would come and take it. Once I remember finding some money on the ground, and it was actually my own. I had pulled out my wallet, and for some reason I had, I think it was a 20 bill, 20 franc bill, and I had probably pulled it out because I had to pay some money to somebody and dropped it, and came back and found the money and thought, oh, that's strange. But it was in the building, and so I thought, okay, well, this is different. It's in the building. Somebody's going to say they lost it. And then I opened up my wallet or whatever, and I found out that it was actually mine. Yeah. Well, that was easy. Okay, question 3. How old were you when you thought about starting a family? You know, I think somehow I always knew I was going to have a family. So I was very young, and I was already thinking of having children. I don't know how old I was actually, but you know, it was something that had always been in my mind that I would have a family. Now, if you think how old we were, like once we got married, so Mrs. DC and we got married at, let me see, I was 1980, so we've been going out together for 7 years. Let me see, 1980. Well, I was going to be 23. It wasn't quite 23 when we got married, but almost. And we weren't finished our studies, so we knew we wanted children already when we got married, but we knew it was not going to be immediately. And it was about 7 years later. We had, 8 years later actually. We had our first child in 1988. Yeah, so it was 8 years later. Yeah, so I guess it kind of answers very young. Question 4. Let me see. The dumbest way you hurt yourself. Dumbest way I hurt myself. I think it was really the dumbest way I hurt myself was probably when I was carrying 2 big metal boxes, one on top of the other, knowing very well that it was slippery, and one slipped off and almost cut my thumb off. It was not an easy thing. Actually, I still have part of the scar here. Can you see it? I don't know if you can actually. Just a minute. Yeah, I guess you kind of can. Anyway, that was a big scar, but it had gone to the bone. Yeah, that's the dumbest way I hurt myself. And question 5 and last. Have you stayed in a hospital, and so for how long? Well, finally, I think I've been to the hospital twice. Once as a young boy, when they took out the tonsils. They used to do things like that quite regularly when I was a young boy. How long did I stay in the hospital? In those days, we probably stayed a couple days, I guess. 2-3 days, I suppose. And a few years back, I had some arrhythmia, and they put me in the hospital for a couple days to test, and found nothing. And years later, they still have not found nothing, and they're not able to say what happened. So it seems like it was like a one-off thing. But anyway, yeah. So I ended up being in the hospital, yes, for a couple days. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Question 5 and over. Yeah. Well, that was it. That was quick. Thanks a lot, Jasmine. Hope you're well, and take care. Bye-bye.